We're live, Jamie.
Hello. Wait, our sides are switched. I just realized.
I know.
What is
and
going
watch,
on?
I know, and I'm going to do this. Watch.
Hi, everybody. Say
Put me in, and then I'd put you in, Jamie. I fixed our
Oh my God.
sides.
ridiculous. Because everybody else is OCD like us, and they couldn't take it. Probably.
I know. It's like I'm always on the left.
Take it.
Oh,
I'm always on
Jamie,
the right.
I would like to say welcome to the show that nobody asked for, Jamie.
The show that
How do
nobody
you feel
asked
about
for.
that?
I feel great. I love every Thursday. I look forward to this. I look forward to chatting with everybody. I look forward to chatting with you, Robin. I look forward to this whole thing.
It's the show that nobody asked for, the only reason that we shower. If these ovaries could talk is live right now.
Oh, brought to you by our good friends
Oh
at California Cryo Bank today.
Cryo.
Thank you, California Cryo Bank, for supporting us and helping us make all of this LGBTQ family content. We are so appreciative that you all are on board with us.
It's very important. And speaking of that song, which we weren't speaking of, but I was thinking about, speaking of that song, we just interviewed the guy who did the background piano for me.
Why didn't you tell me he was? That was.
I thought you knew.
No, I had no idea.
Eric actually did it for me. Justin was too busy, I guess. Yeah, but no, I'm just kidding.
We literally had them, and you could have asked.
I meant to. A new one, and I meant to, and then we were like caught up in the story because their story is actually very good, you guys. It's going to be a great story.
Their episode comes the week after Thanksgiving. Eric and Justin, you are not going to want to miss that one. You got to check it out.
They're the sweetest. Also, I kind of grew up with Justin, so it's like super special.
They are the most adorable couple. But you have to tell everyone. Oh, I'm sorry, Jamie. Go ahead.
No, go, because I
was just going to say. This is, by the way, this is what I was going to say. I have a cold, so I am all kinds of hopped up on like Sudafed type things, and I'm a hot mess. We've recorded like 2 episodes this week, and it's been like Jamie just being like, what are you doing?
What is happening? Because you're the one who keeps us on track. You're the one I'm the one who goes off the rails. Hi, another Justin we love. Hi, Justin.
Because you never get hearts. Thank you, Justin.
Oh, Justin.
Yes, I have us going off the rail because I'm all hopped up on cold medicine.
But Robin, it's your job to keep us on track. So like our interview yesterday was all over the place. I mean, for me to notice that we were all over the place. That's something. I was
Thank God for our editor who she makes it all pretty. So you all won't notice how all over the place we were, because they'd be like,
it wasn't that bad.
I took a right turn.
It wasn't that bad. We just kind of like we usually go in kind of like a sequential order with the story.
I am not having sequences this week.
It was all over. We started at the end, we came to the beginning, then we went to the end again, then we went to the middle. It was, I don't know. It was oh, you guys. Well, we're happy to be here, and we have a lot of great stuff to say. That's me trying to keep us on track. Okay, so we have some listener feedback that we want to read to you guys. We got this wonderful, sweet DM. She slipped it in. I'm not sure if it's if she identifies as she. They slipped it in our DMs. It's the sweetest.
Jamie, I don't think you know what sliding into someone's DMs mean, because it's a nice feedback. She wasn't trying to have sex with us. That's what sliding into your DMs means.
You can say it for other things.
I'm pretty sure. Folks, let us know if you are supposed to use the phrase sliding into, and not Jamie's mom, because she's going to be less connected than us. Hi, Sue. But what if you know what sliding into someone's DMs mean? And I have a feeling it does not mean.
I have a feeling, I feel like Justin's gonna know. I don't know.
That's like Netflix and chill. It doesn't mean to Netflix and chill.
Wait, it doesn't?
No, it means come over and hook up.
No, it
means come over and hook up. You want Netflix and chill?
How do you know this
because
stuff?
I worked at a tech company with the kids, and the kids told me. Yes, have you been saying it wrong?
I don't say it, but I just figured it meant let's.
Thank you, Donna Lee.
Whatever, Donna Lee.
These are dirty phrases that you have taken. I know Donna Lee's Team Robin.
She did. I know.
That says over his talking, and in the back it's going to say Team Robin.
No,
yes,
no.
New merch idea.
Then our feelings are going to get hurt if somebody chooses.
Also, guys, we're off track. All right.
So this lovely, wonderful Monica. I almost said slipped into our DMs again, but she sent a wonderful, wonderful message. And I just want to read it to you because it's like, it's these things that keep us going. So she says, hello, Robin and Jamie. I am single and I'm deciding to move forward with becoming a queer single mother by choice. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Um,
Monica.
Yeah. Without your podcast, I wouldn't have even known where to start. That's what we're here for. Sometimes in this world, the cultural and heteronormative expectations can get you down and make you doubt yourself and your choices. So it's so important to hear everyone's different stories and get that constant reminder that everyone has their own story. The traditional nuclear family is a harmful myth, and happiness, joy, and fulfillment can be found in so many ways. I love that. Thank you. Keep on telling these stories, she says. She said it better than we ever could. So I felt like we just had to read that verbatim from her. Thank you, Monica.
Sage, you only missed some people emailing us. But it's just,
and also
in all
that,
seriousness,
yeah,
those emails and things like that. We read every single one. We try to respond to every single one, sometimes a little later, but we are so appreciative because it's like we put a ton of time into this and highlighting stories and it's not a lot of money's coming back out. So it's just a really nice, it just reminds us that the mission is so important and so critical.
It reminds us that there's a reason we're doing this. And it's really, it's about you guys, honestly. I mean, it's fun to be here. And also we have a lot of fun together. So that's good too. You get to work with your friend. That's fun.
I
mean. Okay. Well,
all right. We have a big show today where we're talking about the gender neutral concept in clothing and kids and in schools. And it's something that's been coming up a lot in my household. Not so much the clothing. Well, not so much the clothing angle, because my daughter is very, very, very I don't know, feminine, I guess, for lack of a better word, in terms of like traditional in her choices.
Yeah.
I don't know the best way to say it.
Like cisgendered, would we say it that way?
I mean, well, that'd be about her gender versus about what she's drawn to, so it's like, I mean, I guess the best way to say it is, in my house, both kids seem to be very drawn toward what would be typical for their assigned gender. Right. So, but what I find really interesting about that is we interviewed somewhere season 5, Lisa Sellin. She had that book called Tomboy.
Great interview.
It really opened my mind to the concept of like how we've gone from tomboy to like this gender neutral thing and like just that whole evolution.
It was the 80s that did it. It was the 80s, which is crazy.
What's so interesting to me is, in my house, my daughter's now in middle school. I don't know if we're just in this bubble of a very liberal school. I mean, I do know that my school is very progressive because my kids are in a charter school, but so many of the kids are saying that they are non-binary or are trans, and they're just, so many of the kids, or at least in her friend group, are rejecting all these norms.
It's amazing.
And I what I'm interested in, and if anyone has thoughts who have kids in the public school system outside of us, I don't know if this is like a New York City phenomenon, if this is because I'm in a progressive school, or if this is happening amongst this generation right now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm curious to hear that from others as well. So put your comments up. But I am feeling kind of the opposite with my school. I mean,
really,
it's a very open school, and it's still we're in the bubble. We're in the Manhattan bubble, very open. But my kids are younger. My daughter is 3rd grade, and every child is pretty gendered in her class, especially the girls. The girls are really...
Well, what grade are we talking to?
3rd grade.
Okay.
3rd grade.
This has just been happening like around 6th grade is when it started.
Except my daughter. All the girls are very into girl clothing and the girl look, and my daughter isn't. And so she feels kind of on the... she feels a bit like an outsider, and she's a little self-conscious.
Is she putting those words on it, or are you picking up on it?
Well, no, she has like some anxiety. Like she won't wear dresses. She has, I've talked about this. She has a thing about, she doesn't want to show her arms. She doesn't want to show her legs up, like she will never wear a leotard, and she goes to gymnastics and all the girls can't wait to put the leotard on. It's like their favorite thing of the whole world. Hi, Julie. But it's like really, it is the most uncomfortable thing for her to do. And one day I even got her to wear, I know we're I don't know if we were ready to come to this point yet, but we got her to wear, I got her to wear her bathing suit. She doesn't wear like a bathing suit. She wears little shorts and like a shirt, and most of them have long sleeves actually.
Yeah.
And I got her to wear that one day because I don't want her shirt, flipping up. She wears her street clothes to gymnastics and she's flipping upside down. I don't want her shirt flipping up. She won't tuck it in. So I got her to wear the bathing suit one day. And one kid said, "Is that a bathing suit?" And it's put her into this terrible, terrible place. And she'll never wear that again. That's done. She has so much anxiety over showing up different than the others.
I was just going to say, is it about differences? That's what I was wondering about.
It's about differences, but it's also like I just read, I'm harping on that Everybody book that I love so much. And it starts off with gender and gender expression and how you identify. And she said to me as we're reading it, she says, I feel like I'm in the middle. I'm like a little bit like a boy and I'm a little bit like a girl, but I'm just like, I'm like a boy, but I have long hair. That's what she said.
But like going back to Lisa Sellen's book, like that would have been called a tomboy,
Right.
I mean, cause like I was like a tomboy growing up. Like I played football, like with pads, the whole thing. I didn't want to wear a girl's bathing suit. It's like, but for me, it wasn't about gender. It was just like, I identified with the boys. Like they were my best friends.
Right. And but her best friends are all girls.
Interesting.
She just, yeah. And that's my other thing that's bugging me. They're all so gendered in her class. Like the boys hang with the boys, the girls hang with the girls. There's no, they do not mix. It's very gendered. And I think the kids are doing it themselves. So I find it really fascinating because I think that she would probably have way more fun playing with the boys if she would let herself.
Well, what's interesting is I remember like talking with Stacy and Chin, who's been on our podcast a couple of times as well. And talking with Stacy and Chin, she's so incredibly smart and so articulate. I mean, if you're not following her on Instagram, you have to be, or any of the social channels.
I just watched a video of her and her daughters are reading poems.
So amazing.
Oh my God.
So amazing. But so I was saying that thing about both my kids seem to be showing up in the world as, as very, typical for the sex that they were born in. And she was just like, yeah, but that's because society's pushing them that direction. And I was like, and that again ties back to Lisa Sellen's book about how marketing became about girls and boys and pushing because they didn't want you to just do hand-me-downs. They wanted it to be specific. And so that there would be more of a turnover in clothing. There would be more of and you would have to buy specific things for your girls or for your boys.
Yeah. And it's really crazy. It's so crazy.
Excuse me. I have to
cough. She's coughing. And Sage, I saw your comment. Thank you for that. Yeah. I think there is something to do with ADHD too and the anxiety, but it's just interesting. Hi, Kim.
My sister's in the house. Well, listen, before we go any further, I do think we need to, as we mentioned, this episode is brought to you by California Cryo Bank, I mean, again, just all thanks to them for helping us make this content. It's just critical.
I mean, it's a lot. So we have to stop for a second and we got to tell you all about the special code we have for the folks who need donor sperm to start your families.
Absolutely. California Cryo Bank is offering, and by the way, we're so proud of this partnership. I just keep saying it. I'm sorry, but
it's really great. I can't believe it.
I would have loved this deal when I was searching for sperm. So California Cryo Bank is offering our listeners a free level 2 donor information subscription for 90 days. I mean, that is worth $145.
Yeah. And this subscription is going to give you access to extended donor profiles, childhood photos, adult photos for some of the donors, which is super cool.
Huge. I didn't get that. So jealous.
Access to their medical histories. You can read personal essays they've written. And I know that I personally could not have picked my donor without all those extras.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And California Cryobank offers 14 different donor information items to help clients with the selection process and to provide future children with in-depth information about their donor. And let me tell you, when you start the search for Superman, you want everything you can get.
You really do. You really do. So just to reiterate, you're going to get 90 days with this access to all level 2 perks. And that is, in my opinion, a girl with spreadsheets, plenty of time to pick your donor.
Yeah, I actually just pulled out our donor folder that California Cryobank gave us when we got pregnant.
Yeah.
And it's got all our donors' info in it. And because my daughter has recently started asking about him, and it's really nice to just be able to whip that bad boy out and start sharing
And
the info.
Jamie, I don't know if you're aware, they even upgraded that now.
Yeah.
So now, like, once you get pregnant, they're going to give you this digital donor keepsake where
It's
you
not
have
a folder.
No, it's not a folder anymore.
You don't have to put it in your file box.
They're in the digital age, and you're going to
Yeah.
have immediate access to download your donor information items with the level 2 subscription. And we're offering you it all for free. It's even better than a folder.
amazing.
It's all in one place. It's super convenient. And it's, in the words of Jamie, nifty.
Yeah, it's super nifty. And seriously, that you said that, not me.
You
California,
said it.
California Cryobank never ceases to amaze. So if you're ready to start building your family, head over to cryobank.com, open a free account, and use code OCT to activate your free subscription today.
Okay, that's cryobank.com, cryobank.com, and make those babies. And then just come tell us about it. It's critical.
So many babies, so many babies,
Yes,
so many
yes.
babies. So,
Jamie, for the love of God, turn your phone off while we're in the middle of a live stream.
CVS Pharmacy is calling me.
It's critical. It is
don't even
critical.
know.
I bet CVS Pharmacy was calling to say, I love California Cryobank. That's probably what was
I bet you they
happening.
were. They do. Okay.
Let's get back on track. Let's talk gender neutral clothes, because this is not something like you said, again, I keep talking about Lisa Sellen. I mean, we have to tag the crap out of her when we post this episode,
I know.
But she talked about how there was no, all the sizing was unisex.
Yeah.
And then
everything
they
was until the 80s.
It was like a marketing thing that they did. And so it's almost like we're trying to go back
puppets
to that.
We should be going back to that.
Are we puppets?
It's so we're like puppets for the marketers. I get so frustrated. I just went. Oh my God, my phone. I just went online to look for, what was I looking for Rose? Oh, sports. She's decided for gymnastics that she's gonna wear workout clothes. She'll put kids' workout clothes on, right?
Okay.
Because and the boys wear shorts and a t-shirt tucked in. I don't know why the girls have to wear these leotards. I don't understand, right?
Right.
So actually, and they've never given us grief that she wears her street clothes. They're really cool. However, I feel like it's coming. I really feel like it's coming.
Okay.
So, I went on Amazon to find kids' workout clothes. I had to enter if she's a girl or a boy. I had to enter that.
It's crazy.
And even Rose was like, why do you have to do that? What if I want boys' workout clothes? So even she's up in art. And so we ended up with these pink workout clothes, which
if you want it to be a filter on the side, fine, that I can do, but don't force me to choose that filter.
I mean, use filter by color.
Or have an option gender neutral as a filter.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's just what the F? There are some companies though now that are have taken away the whole what's the word I'm looking for? Gender in stores. So there's not a girl section and a boy section. I can't remember who just recently did it. Maybe put a comment up if you know who it is. I feel like it was Target or something has decided they're not going to have girls and boys sections now. It's just going to be all out there.
You were telling me about the Clothes Without Limits. Tell us about that, Jamie.
Yeah, well, this is like a movement. It's a hashtag thing. We should post it later. And it's their mission. This hashtag, this whole organization's mission is to get more gender neutral clothing out there and find the places where kids can wear what they want and feel empowered. So they have a whole website. They list all of these different clothing companies that give you gender neutral options. I think they only give you gender neutral options, and they ask that you share the hashtag and
it's like 10 companies that came together. I mean, they all seem to be more independent type companies. I wish it was somebody like LL Bean or like Target or but I mean, I guess it's slow and steady.
Something's better than nothing, and so I plan on shopping at some of these places for sure. But what I did even notice with that, not gonna lie, one of the stores, it's only for it's for clothing for girls that's empowering. So it's like I do STEM, or whatever, but it's not. So some of them.
Well, I mean, but by the way, that's an important thing as well. I mean, because it's like this whole idea of catering science to boys and this to girls. It's, it's like everybody likes science. I mean, or nobody likes science, but it's on a gender base. That's why I said it.
But so there was also this website that I stumbled upon. Are we looking
I'm
at it
sorry.
right
I went here. You were, okay, wait, where did you want to go?
Tell
me where you want to go. You
I don't know
wanted
what
to go
that is.
to Laura Dern's clothing, or are you going to the
No,
United?
I wanted to talk about well, I guess on this website they talk about how to help your kids get into the gender neutral lifestyle, like to how to encourage your children to not wear gender clothing.
Okay, but can I ask a question about that, Jamie?
And I'm not sure it was like we have to make our kids do. I don't I
But
don't,
that's
don't
why I want
quote
to
me.
ask your
I
opinion.
know
Like,
that's where you're going to go.
well, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, I don't feel the need to encourage. Like, I wanted, like,
No.
my daughter was really into princesses. Like, I mean, she wanted, like, we had to invent the thing called the base outfit, where we were like, yeah, oh, all princesses wear a base outfit underneath their dress, because she would only wear those dresses. And I was
Yeah.
like, at some point, you're going to be like running around. I need you to have some pants on.
Yeah,
But
I never had
I
that.
I felt like me forcing her to wear gender neutral clothing. She wanted pink. She
No,
wanted purple.
yeah.
It would have been, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't
Just
want
as
us to get
bad.
into a field. This is just my opinion. I don't want us to get into an area where we're just saying you can't love pink as a girl, you can't love navy
Of
as a
course
boy.
not. Of course not. But I think this is a site for parents who maybe their kids are like more on this gender neutral side and maybe have anxiety over it. So they had this article on how to keep your kids' life gender neutral,
Okay.
which was interesting. And one of clothing and the toys and the friends, and one of their suggestions was encourage your kids to play in mixed gender groups.
Well, I mean, I think that's important, period.
I think
Although my kids are drawn to who they're
important.
drawn to.
They're drawn to who they're drawn to. And both my kids they only want to play with the kids that are the same assigned gender as them. Like they just naturally gravitate there. So I'm not going to be like, you have to play with the boys, or to Orion, you have to play with the girls. They're drawn to who they're drawn to. So I don't know, like, how far do you want to take this, and exactly what you were
Well,
just
by the way,
saying.
how
I
far
just
do you want to
found it
take
interesting.
this? That's a perfect transition
Yeah.
for United Colors of Benetton came out with
Yeah.
a unisex hijab, which people are kind of losing their
arms.
mind a little bit about.
Well, because first of all, cultural appropriation, religious heresy.
Are people mad about cultural appropriation? Because they're saying this is for folks who.
Yeah, but the thing is, a hijab is only for women in their religion. Men do not wear hijabs. So there was all kinds of things wrong with this, in just and so, but my question is, people are up in arms for the religion part. I understand, the cultural thing, but are people also I feel like people are also up in arms because for a man to dress like a woman is degrading.
I mean, is that's some of the feedback?
Well, it was all over. Like, Twitter went crazy.
I mean,
a lot of different things.
That's called just Tuesday on Twitter. I mean, Twitter's crazy in general.
There was a lot. I mean, it was interesting, but also a hijab is for women. That's the whole point of it.
That is the point.
What the women wear. So I don't know why they came up with this.
Well, that's the thing. Is like what's
interesting
is that they could have come out with these hijabs that were, just maybe like it was about being easy to, like, sporty, so that you can play sports and wear the hijab and still be, follow your cultural traditions. Instead, to take it to unisex is just like, what and it makes me think of that whole let me take this off the screen. It makes me take the whole thing. My boss Tom, who was this amazing boss, used to talk about diversity and diversity not just being about color, whatever, but it's about all of the things. It's about diversity of viewpoint, of where you come from, and if you don't have someone at the table that can speak to that, then you go to market. But I think of all the people along the way, from the beginning of this idea, from the person who was like, let's do unisex hijabs, and then to the people who they had to pitch that idea. It had to be approved. It had to go into production. All the people that said yes along the way for that to end up in a store.
And
then
nobody
say this is a bad idea.
Yeah, and then where were you when the backlash hit? Because I don't feel like they ever even released any kind of statement about where they were coming from or why.
Well, it just happened yesterday, I think. So
that's true. Yeah.
So there's time for that. There's time for the boycott, and there's time for all the things that the cancel culture that are going to happen only on Twitter. So.
Twitter's a crazy place. You get lost there.
It's a cesspool.
It's just insane. I tell you, it's just insane. I have to stay off Twitter. It's really too much.
I stop myself because I go into the comments because I want to see what the other side is saying, and that is never a healthy place.
No,
And
it's a
no
bad
good
place to
comes
go.
from going. Don't
It's a
go into the
bad place to go.
comments.
I just read this thing. I was, scrolling as you do on my lunch, on my IG, and I saw this like a support page for LGBTQ, how to support your LGBTQ
Did you go into the comments?
friends and family over the holidays. And one of them was, if you see hateful comments on social media, don't engage, don't respond, just report them, and then maybe put a kind post up on the LGBTQ friends post instead.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice alternative to engaging in an attack in the cesspool.
Yeah, but also sometimes I want you guys to engage with the ones that say stuff to us.
I start banning and blocking now. I'm just like ban and block.
That's what they say to do. But also, sometimes it's really hard for me to not engage back. It's really tough sometimes. But it never ends in a good place, ever.
I think the only other part about the gender neutral clothing is that I was seeing that even like Laura Dern and her son are getting into the they have a gender neutral clothing line,
which I'm totally about. Though it's also sustainable clothing, so it's like fashion for it's expensive. It's going to be expensive stuff.
Of course it is.
Nobody I know is actually I probably know people who would probably buy this.
It's going to be like a $400 like giant cowl neck turtleneck from the
it's probably even more than that. But it looks really cool. I love the look. I love this what her son is wearing. I think it's really cool. I think it's great. Good for her. Gender neutral all the way. Let's go there. Let's do it.
That my sister said the cowl is back. I was wondering. It's very 70s. I mean, all old is new. Always.
Old is new. New is old. Also, on the whole, on the gender neutral thing, we didn't talk about Shiloh Jolie Pitt.
Oh, right. I did notice like there was a whole article about her. By the way, the article was about how her two daughters have been re-wearing her Angelina Jolie's old like gowns and then having them re-tailored to fit them.
That's cute. So Shiloh has been showing up on the red carpet with oh God, what's the other daughter's name? I know her name. Anyway, the three of them have been showing up.
It'll come to us.
It'll come. They've been showing up, and Shiloh's wearing dresses and appearing more feminine, which is interesting because for the longest time they even said Shiloh wants to be called John. She wants to be a boy. She wants to be with the boys, and it's just interesting how gender can express itself.
Well,
throughout the years,
sort of
and
full
in the
circle
ages.
to the elementary school part. What I find really interesting is how. And Mary and I talk a lot about this, but all the kids in my daughter's school they're so fluid and what they're doing. And they're all like 1 minute they're saying they're trans, the next minute they're saying they're non-binary, or the next minute they're saying, I have this name or I have that name, or, whatever, or they're taking this pronoun and that pronoun. And at first I started to feel a little bit like, we fought so hard to name ourselves and it felt willy-nilly. But then I remembered that what I used to say to people when I was coming out, I used to say, listen, I believe that if the world were free of societal pressures and societal norms, everyone would be more on the Kinsey scale. Everybody would come in more toward the middle. And I used to say that to everybody.
This is what I say all the time, and you make fun of me.
No, I don't make fun of you for that.
Everybody's a little bit gay.
Okay, well, that's different from what I'm saying, but yes. But my point is now they are kind of doing that. They're finding their way. And our editor Steph said, and I thought this was so smart. She said, well, you guys, she said, you had to figure out who you were and then you named it. She said, this generation, she said, they're naming it and then they're figuring out who they are. And there's this fluidity to that. And I have to say, I applaud Angelina Jolie. It's not something I do on the daily basis. And Brad Pitt, though, for allowing their child to do that in the media, and how difficult that must have been to have that level of scrutiny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming they sheltered her from whatever they could, but still, that's But again,
and they've got bajillions of dollars for therapists if it did affect them.
But Sage, we were trying to think of the other daughter's name, and I can't.
There's Maddox is one of the
Maddox,
other kids, and it's like, and I could see her face, but I can't think of it.
I
But
know.
anyway,
Anyway.
this is I think the takeaway is everyone needs to go back to the episode with Lisa Sellen. It was called Tomboy, because we really talk about this in depth, and it's such an
she's
interesting
an
conversation.
Expert. We're not. It's much more.
Why
You're going to get a lot more info.
Why did
I don't know.
Why do we think we're taking this on, Jamie? What's
wrong with us? But it's really interesting, and our kids are showing up in more fluid ways, and
they are, and it's wonderful.
What's going to happen with mine?
And I'm just letting it go, and whatever happens, and I'll wait until she feels more solid on whatever she feels, and then I want to hear about it.
I will say this: when Rose said to me, and I always think I'm really open and like cool, and I'll be fine with whatever. When she said to me when we were looking at that book, she said, "I feel like in the middle." Yes, Shiloh's sister.
Zahara.
That's it.
Zahara. Sage and my sister coming in clutch.
When Rose said she feels in the middle, she's not really a boy, she's not really a girl, she's like a boy with long hair. I did have a moment of, okay. This is gonna be a like I had I don't know, like the rock on my chest kind of feeling. And I didn't think I would. Scary.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. It's maybe different for what you thought for her,
right?
Or and also, let's see what happens.
I know, and I'm not stressed. I had a moment, and I was shocked that I even had a moment. That's my point. Is like that I actually did have a little bit of a moment, and I didn't think I would.
Yeah. I mean, I think as a parent, there's no way not to have moments when they do things that are different from what you thought. I think that's parenting.
It's interesting all around. But anyway, wear what you want to wear. Don't worry about what society says you need to wear. You do you. If you want to wear all pink, you wear all pink. If you want to wear a princess dress, you put that on and you rock it out and you go to Target in that princess dress.
And if you want to buy sperm, you use the code OCT and you go to cryobank.com.
You do that too. You do that too.
No to thongs. But thank you, California Cryobank, again for helping us make the show a possibility. We really, really, really we appreciate it.
And Sage, that's amazing.
We're gonna use you, Sage. Add a girl. And just say no to thongs. So this has
like thongs. What are you talking about?
On that note,
sometimes you can't have a panty line. I get to wear what I want to wear. You wear what you want to wear.
You do you all day long. I'm just saying, I don't worry about panty lines in my sweatpants. All right, eggs,
ovaries. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, California Cryobank.
Thank you, Cryo.